Hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever it is that you're watching this video, and welcome or welcome back to Cosmic Lovers Tarot. In today's video, we're going to be talking to an Aquarius, so you could be Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Rising, and specifically looking at a path out of pain for you. So if you're struggling with something, we're going to look at what lesson this pain is teaching you, what your heart needs from you right now, and what steps you can begin to take to heal. I'm going to be using a blend of decks. So first I'll be using the Curious Creatures deck, which is one of my personal favorites. And then we'll be clarifying with the Rider-Waite. I hope you guys are having a good day. I mean, all things considered. All right. All right, just getting the cards ready here. And I'm gonna first pull you an oracle card. This will kind of set the stage for the story. See what's going on here. This oracle deck portion will also kind of serve as a little vibe check for you. So if we get the oracle card and what I say doesn't seem like it's like in reference to what you had in your mind, then this may not be your video. But we'll see. I mean, that being said, if you did find your way to this video, it's more than likely there's something here for you that might resonate, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. One more shuffle. Can I get an oracle card for Aquarius, please? Can I get an oracle card for Aquarius? Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Right out the gate. Okay, so your oracle card is the Wounded. And this is, a healing from pain video. So yes, there's something definitely going on that's got you in your feels, in your sorrow feels. Back the card says, be gentle with yourself and others because we have all been wounded in some way, and a wound will always cry out to be healed. Now, this makes me think that the other person involved in this scenario that you're in, this painful scenario that you're in, is a person that also has some trauma. So I do feel that there is another person involved in this scenario, specifically someone whose behavior is causing you pain, like you don't understand why they're acting like that. This is a very specific example, so this may not resonate with all people, but the best analogy that I can give you is like being in love with an alcoholic, or being in love with a drug addict, being in love with someone or someone with a mental illness that causes them to behave in ways that are very hurtful, and yet you still love them because you can see their true nature underneath their trauma shell. Or they're only an asshole when they're drunk, or they only steal from you when they use, something like that. And so what I'm seeing is like this back and forth kind of painful energy of feeling like stuck in that kind of cycle. But we're going to pull some more cards and see see how this goes. All right. What lesson can Aquarius learn from this pain? What lesson can Aquarius learn from this pain? Oh. Ten of Cups in reverse. Okay. Everything isn't always as happy as it seems. Okay. So there's something here, guys, and we'll get more information about all this when I clarify with the Rider-Waite. But for right now, what I'm seeing specifically is there's something about something sounding good on paper and not being so good behind closed doors. So the Ten of Cups talks about a happy relationship. You know, there's a literal rainbow over these hippos. It couldn't get any more joyous than the Ten of Cups, right? Now that being said, though, in reverse, it can mean a little bit of how do I put this? A little bit of like delusions about a happy ending. So without being too like harsh here, this card can sometimes mean that even though a person is behaving in a certain way over and over and over again and being very clear to you about like what they want, what kind of relationship they want, or not necessarily what kind of relationship they want, but what kind of relationship they are able to provide. Meaning, it's like if someone says, okay, it's less about what they say and more about what they do is what I'm trying to say. So if someone is telling you, yes, it's going to be happy ever after for us. It's going to be, white picket fence and college fund or college savings for the kids or whatever. I mean, that was like people's life dreams in the 50s, but you know what I mean? There's a little bit of an element of that, right? Where it's like, it's a little bit too a Disney fairy tale kind of ending. And yet this person is selling you on this, that this is what they are able to give you. This is what they want to give you. And yet their actions are not living up to the words and the promises that they have like shown you. And so you're starting to feel a little like, what the fuck? Do I stay in this? Do I believe in the fantasy that like they've been telling me? So a little bit of the lesson here is to be realistic. And, I hate this. I'm just going to come right out and tell you. I hate this because Aquarius, I can feel your energy, and your energy is so hopeful. And it is so like, oh my God, it's like, it's so idealistic and glass half full and optimism abounds. And it really like, it upsets me that this person, and like, I'm not upset with the person. I'm upset with the situation because I don't want you to lose that spark of optimism that you have. But the lesson here is about taking off the rose-colored glasses and being more realistic and actually, like, there's a little bit of a shedding naivete kind of thing. But, ultimately, though, I don't think you have to worry about becoming jaded or becoming jaded, basically. You don't have to worry about that because this is your disposition. Your disposition is to see the best in people and to see their positives and to trust and to have faith in the overall unfolding of something good happening. Okay, in terms of what your heart needs from you right now, definitely self-love. You've got Page of Cups here, but Page of Cups is in reverse. Page of Cups is one of my favorite cards in the entire tarot. I love it. Every time the Page of Cups pops up, I just get this like little giddy, joyful quality in me. Now, in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, the Page of Cups is a young man, and he is holding a cup, and there's a little fish popping out of it. And the little fish has a message for him. And, well, in my story about the tarot, I have decided that the little fish has a message for him. And the little fish's message is, hey, I've uncovered a new depth of feeling in you that you've never known before. Let's explore it together. And so I like to imagine that, like, when the first time that you ever have a crush on someone, or that moment when you are friends with someone and then the feelings start to deepen into something more, that's when the little fish pops up and goes, hey, I think we have a crush. And it's like, it's really cute and it's so sweet because, like, because you and the fish, like, are exploring this new feeling world together. It's like a feeling that you've never known before. And yeah, anyways, I just think it's adorable. So this card in the Curious Creatures Tarot, they flipped it. So the fish is the page, and there's a little human popping out of a cup giving him a love letter. So, a couple things here. This was in reverse, so I'm thinking, put that love back on you. Well, hold on. What does your heart need from you most? What does your heart need from you right now? Page of Cups in reverse. Yes. Self-love. Self-care and like indulging. So I can tell that you give love freely to other people, and you're being asked now to flip that on its head and give that love back to yourself. Okay. And also there's a little bit of a message here about diving into the unknown depths of yourself, like really getting to know yourself from the inside out, you know, figuring out what your favorite thing to do is. You know, that actually takes a while. I'm going through a very long single stretch right now, longest single stretch of my adult life, since I was 16 years old, actually. So it's been awesome. But what's interesting, one of the most interesting things I found out about it during this time, it's only like 2 years, by the way. But one of the most interesting things that I've found during this time is that, like, I genuinely didn't even know. Well, a lot has changed in my life, so it's not just being single. A lot has changed in my life. But I had to relearn / learn what filled my cup, so to speak, like how I derived pleasure, and not just pleasure, but like things to look forward to. You know, basically, my life has changed considerably in the last few years. From my 20s to my 30s was a huge change in what I used to do, and how I used to spend my time, and how I used to have fun. And so now it's all about, this whole time it's been all about relearning what fills me up. And there's a message here about that for you too. Learning what fills your cup up. Like learning when you've had a shit day at work and you just need to go home and recharge. What is that? What is that thing? You know, there's so much media and like information out there about self-care, prioritize self-care, but hardly anyone talks about how do you figure out what your self-care is. I mean, for me, in my situation, it was like I used to drink a lot. My self-care was going out and getting drunk with my friends. That was my self-care. Well, then I stopped drinking. So what the fuck was my self-care then? You know, like I didn't have a self-care. I was like, I used to spend every moment that I wasn't bartending, I spent out drinking with friends. That was all I did. Or recovering from drinking with friends enough so that I could go out drinking with friends again. So there was never any, I had no idea what I could do. And it took me, and this was the whole point of this. Sorry for that meander into my own life. But my point with that is it takes time. It takes time to do that. It has taken me, I have been on I'm not sober, but I do engage in like mindful consumption. So much less than I used to. Okay, where was I going with that? Oh, I've been doing that for about 4 years now. And I've been sober off and on for during that time. So like I would do like a year sober and then start drinking a little bit here and there and see how that went. And, you know, basically it's been a journey. But my point with that is that it's just now at 4 years in, have I figured out how I can fill myself up, how I recharge at the end of a night. You know, I used to just come home and put Netflix on and like try to just, you know, recharge that way. But there's definitely something here. Again, sorry for that long meander into my own life, but there was something there for you, I'm sure, because I get the sense that there's a little bit of impatience here, right? And the message here from me to you in that telling of my story, the point of that was to tell you that this shit takes time, that it's not going to happen overnight, that you moving on and like reevaluating what you want out of your life, what you need out of your life, what fills you up, what excites you, what keeps you going day in, day out, all that stuff. That is a journey that's going to take time. And there's going to be a lot of little moments of that little fish popping up out of the cup going, hey, I found something else that we really love. Or, hey, I don't think we like that. You know, it's funny. I'm reading the Golden Compass series, or His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. And they, in that show, well, I watched the show too, but it's amazing, by the way, if you haven't seen it. It's on HBO, and the books are amazing too. But anyways, in that universe, they have a demon. The humans have a demon that lives with them, and it's a little animal. And so now I'm thinking of that fish as like your demon, like helping you out. They're buddies. Anyways, this is going in a whole weird direction. So I'm just going to keep going into what steps can you begin to take to heal. You guys must be really good listeners, Aquarius, because for some reason, doing your reading, I feel like I'm talking with my best friend. Like, I'm just like, I wanted to sit and like chat, you know? So there's this funny little energy here. Yeah, you guys you have a very sweet energy. So, okay, what steps can you take to begin to heal? Okay. Well, we've got Devil in reverse, guys. So, damn, this could mean one of two things. Okay. So let's kind of dissect this for a second. Actually, we'll get more clarification with the Rider-Waite. But here's what I'll say for right now. Oh, cool. And we've got the Fool for bottom of the deck energy. Awesome. Okay, great. Well, so there is a fresh start coming for you guys in the near future. It's awesome. Yeah, so I know I said this was going to take some time, but you're on a new adventure that is definitely going to take off. In fact, okay, so you've got a lot of fresh start energy here. It's funny because when I was looking at your Ten of Cups, I was actually thinking about the Fool, and I'm trying to remember why. Naivete. Yeah. So there was something here about the Ten of Cups, and I was saying, we were talking about how you had how you believe in people, and you've been believing in this person and believing them when they say that they're going to change and that things are going to be better, right? And how it was kind of like rose-colored glasses, okay? But then we have this Fool as your bottom of the deck energy, and it's like, it's a reminder, and it's a call to arms from the universe to say, hey, you're not an idiot. You know, don't beat yourself up. Like, you did a brave thing. Like, you leapt off the cliff, you know, into this person's arms. You trusted that someone was going to catch you. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? That's brave. That's daring. That's bold. That's amazing. You know, you don't have to worry about feeling stupid. And if your friends are behind your back being like, oh, can you believe they took them back another time? Can you believe that, like, they haven't learned by now? Fuck them. I used to get that all the time with people that I date. You know, I can't believe you're still buying food for that guy after what he did. I don't care, okay? Having a big open heart and trusting people and loving them and wanting to support them and wanting to see them do well and believing them when they say that they're going to change is nothing to be ashamed of. Now, boundaries are important, right? And it took me way too long to recognize that. So hopefully you've figured that out sooner. But your energy and your spirit of being willing to take chances on people and like love with your whole heart, and that is commendable. And you are going to have an opportunity to jump off that cliff again soon. And the universe is saying, go for it, you know? Now, let's get into this Devil in reverse real quick. So, some of you are hitting the substances a little hard right now. But then some of you might not be hitting them enough. So this is what I said about the Devil in reverse is is a bit it's a bit tricky for me right now. In fact, I will be honest with you. The devil card, when it comes up for me in a reading in reverse, is often tricky for me because of my own personal feelings about sobriety and AA and that whole thing. I have my own feelings about it, and I'm not gonna all I'm gonna say is that mindful consumption has benefited me, but I do still struggle with substance issues. Okay. And I probably will struggle with substance issues for my whole life. So I guess here's what I'm saying. When this card comes up in a reading, specifically in terms of substance use, I do not feel qualified to give you any advice because I am a person that has not quite figured out what works best for me in terms of substances. Now, I will tell you what I have tried, okay? Because this is definitely telling me that there's something going on with you in regards to your substance use. I'm feeling some guilt and shame in terms of it. Or it could be the other person, right? It could be that other person that the substance, and you're kind of like trying to sort out how you feel about it. Okay, I'm remembering I dated an alcoholic when I was in my early 20s. And it was a crux of our relationship problems was his alcoholism. At the end of the relationship, I turned into an alcoholic. Like, we broke up and I started drinking constantly. There's a little bit of this going on. There's a feeling like I'm such a loser. I'm a hypocrite, like some of you are feeling like, why did this happen to me after I said all that shit? Like, you got up on a soapbox and now people are throwing fruit at you. Like, there's some kind of thing going on with that. And what I can say for that is I'm always here to say, don't beat yourself up. It's okay, what steps you can take to begin to heal? Taking an honest look at your substance use might be beneficial right now. I'm not telling you to cut back. I'm not telling you to stop. I'm not telling you anything. All I'm saying is just to take an analysis, take a step back and analyze your use and see like where it's coming from and see if there can be things that you can do to like mitigate the stresses of your environment before turning to substances. But that being said, I don't preach sobriety, so, I'm probably not, anyways, I'm not a great person to comment on this, like I said, so I'm just going to stray away from it, and I'm going to look back at what lessons can you learn from this pain. Okay. We're getting clarification on this 10 of Cups. Oh, yeah, okay. Yep, trickery. You feel like you were deceived. Okay. But, you're struggling in terms of trying to figure out what this means in terms of your future, not with this person, but your future ability to trust and to love, right? This is like I don't want to say a common situation, but, for some of you, this might have been your first love. And you really thought, oh, okay. So some of you are contending with the fact that this was your first love and you were going to be together forever. And now you're contending with the fact that your perfect fantasy 10 of Cups is not going to happen. Because you had believed that you would be with one person. Oh, and this is cute because, like, you guys didn't even really want to share this with anybody. You might not have shared this with anyone because it sounds so, like, old-fashioned. Maybe that's why I was getting, like, the picket fence thing. Like, the picket fence and the college fund and the, like, station wagon out front. I think because you guys had hoped that you would be with your high school sweetheart forever or something like that, but you didn't even voice it to anybody. And so now you're like, oh, that's not going to happen, and it's kind of left a sour taste in your mouth, for relationships in the future. And I totally get that. But there is an opportunity coming up for you. Okay. Yeah, okay, guys. So here's what's going on. Okay, so the lesson here is one bad apple doesn't spoil the bunch, you know. You're readjusting your map. Okay, you're reworking your map to reflect the territory of the relationships that you've been in. It's okay. You're fine. You're going to get, you know, like I said, you're going to have an opportunity here coming up in the future to dive back into love. And you can do that. You can leap head first. You can do that again. And it's going to, I mean, I hate to say it so callously, like, oh, it's going to erase everything that you felt about the person before. That's not what I mean. It's just one of those situations where, you know, sometimes people talk shit about rebound relationships, but sometimes a new relationship can be really beneficial in getting through a lot of the like residual stings of an old one, you know, as long as you're clear about what's going on and you've had enough time pass and you're like, you know, take things slow. Don't just like dive in, you know. If you're thinking it might be a rebound, don't just dive right in, you know. Take some time, go on a few dates, you know. Really kind of ease into it, make sure you like them, but it can really help to like basically it can help to like stir up some of those old emotions, right? Because our bodies are energetic vessels and emotions feed through us like currents, right? And if you have this stagnant, sad energy just kind of sitting in you, and you don't have anywhere for it to go or anything to spice it up a little bit and change things up, then it can get very stagnant. And that's kind of what I see happening for you here. So, you guys are reluctant to spend time alone because the feelings sink in, and I get that. When I was going through my first breakup, I get the sense that you guys are pretty young also. Like I said, like this is your first relationship. It's a very youthful energy here. Like you might be a teenager, you might be in your early 20s, but very young, very youthful energy here. So I'm reminded of my own first relationship. Anyways, way back in the day, I'm 32 now, or almost 32, but way back in the day when I was in my early 20s, man, I'm telling you, I completely understand where you're at. When I was going through breakups, I was never alone, ever. I was with friends, sleeping, crashing on couches. I was drunk 24/7. Like I was never by myself. So there's a little bit of this, not wanting to be alone, feeling burdened by your own presence even. But here's what I have to point out to you though, and here's the flip side. You are draining yourself being around these people. Your body is craving, or your heart, sorry, but yes, also your body. Your whole being is craving for you to sit still and be in solitude right now. Your being is crying out for you to just wrap yourself in a blanket and let those tears flow. You need to cry me a river. Like this, your bed needs to be made of these tears, you know? And I hate to say that because God, but look, I promise you, okay? I promise, because I've been where you're at. I promise. You want to get this stuff out now, because if you wait until you're 30 like me, then your Saturn return is going to come around and bring all that pain that you ran from in your 20s and shove it in your face and make you deal with it until you're puking and crying and having a full-blown manic episode, legitimately. So I highly recommend getting the tears out now, putting on a sad song. You know that song that you guys used to listen to together and you'd say that was going to be your future? Put it on and cry. Just cry. If you need to drink a little bit to get the tears out, do it. If you need to take a couple shots to get the tears out, do it. Whatever you need to do to get those tears out, because your body is like aching for it. And here's the best part. And this is what, okay, wait, I have two best parts. One best part is that you're going to feel amazing once those tears start to flow. So once you really start, it's going to take a minute because they're not going to want to come out. And especially if you're young, our parents didn't do a good job of raising us. Okay. We're going to be very clear with that. They didn't do a good job at honoring our feelings. We weren't taught that it was okay to cry or it was okay to be sad, because they saw us be sad and it freaked them out, and it reflected back to them that they weren't being good parents and that they were fucking up just like their parents were. And it started this cascade of backwards surfing trauma that made them then go, no, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, because they couldn't stand seeing their children cry. As a result, we grew up thinking that our emotions were bad and that we were bad for having negative emotions. It's bullshit. But that being said, we all have a block on crying and on feeling negative emotions, and that's okay. However, you need to bust through that block, bust through it. For me, it used to be alcohol. Like, I used to drink and then just go sob in a field somewhere. And I always thought it was weird until I stopped drinking. And then I was like, oh, I was doing that so I could cry. Now I cry at the drop of a hat. I cry every day. Like, I'm serious. Every single day I cry for at least a few minutes. Like, because I found out that I'm a really goopy, very emotional person that, like, actually I wear my heart on my sleeve. I didn't even know that about myself for until I was 30 years old. Was I was like, oh, I'm a crier. Who knew, So anyways, side point, all the way back to what I was saying before. However, you need to get those tears out, get them out. What I used to do when I stopped drinking and I needed to get the tears out, I would lay on my back. So I'd go outside. Now, like I said, now I'm a professional crier. I can cry at the drop of a hat. Well, I do. I'm the type now where, like, I listen to a song, I cry. I watch a commercial that's especially sad, I cry. Like, everything makes me cry. I think about my dog and how perfect she is, and I cry. Like, I'm just one of those people. But I didn't know that about myself for a while. And when the tears were first coming back to me a couple years ago, when I went through the Saturn return that I told you about, I had this onslaught of emotions coming back, and I didn't know how to make myself cry. So I would go outside and I would lay flat on my back in the grass, and I would just throw my arms to my side and literally have to, like, dredge them up. Like, I'd be like, come on, get out. And then I would start crying, and it would be like a waterfall, right? It's just like a cascade of tears. I was like, yes. And it felt so good, dude. I'm actually jealous of the cry session that you're about to have, because I don't even know if I can have a cry session like that anymore. I'm like legitimately jealous, because the euphoria that you're gonna feel after the tears are gone is really something special. Okay, so I'm here to tell you a couple things. One thing, or I've told you a lot of things, but one big thing is that after those tears come out, you're going to feel amazing. And you've got an opportunity that's right around the corner to jump into a new relationship, man. So, like, don't worry about it, You're going to have a few tear-soaked nights, okay? And then you're going to be bouncing back in no time. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, so what steps can you take to heal? Okay. So there's a little bit of fear of change here, guys. Oh, shit. Hold on. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Okay. There's a little bit of fear of change here. Man, okay. I think you're afraid of becoming like your ex-partner or like your parents. Okay, there's a little bit of a fear here that you're turning into a person. Oh, shit. Also, something else. Okay. This person told you things about yourself that were straight up bullshit. Don't listen to that. Do not listen to that. This person told you things about yourself that has negatively affected your self-image, okay? And it's not true. Now you're having this shifting perspective about yourself. And okay, and here's the thing. I want you to celebrate that. That's amazing. Like, you're young, you're growing, you're becoming who you are. And every person that we date, especially, well, not even date, every person that we become intimate with reflects back to us different parts of ourselves, right? We're all like this shifting kaleidoscope of universal reflection, right? So we're all like mirrors of each other in some way, shape, or form. Well, when you spend time with somebody, and you really spend time with somebody, they reflect back to you parts of yourself that you may not be aware of, unconsciously, consciously, subconsciously, it doesn't really matter. But what happens also is that they learn your vulnerabilities. And when people are hurt, dude, they get nasty, okay? I have said things to people in relationships that I wish I could take back. Because I said it in a moment of anger, and I said it and because I knew that it could hurt them, right? People have said things to me in relationships that they knew would hurt me, and they're not true. It's just that when you know somebody that well, you can pick out the chinks in their armor, and you can say things that you know are gonna get them right where it hurts. And there's a little bit of that happened to you. So the cool thing about this is that your self-perception has shifted and changed. You are now experiencing a new depth, okay? That's what this Two of Coins is about here, a new depth. That's what Page of Cups is about, new depth. And how you choose to embrace that is up to you. But I hope, it is my sincere hope, that when you leave this reading, you look at these new parts of yourself, these new elements of yourself that, okay, so this relationship that you were in, it brought out sides of you that you didn't know that you had. And I truly hope that going forward, you appreciate that you now know that about yourself. Because guess what? Congratulations, that's not unconscious anymore. Do you know how many people are running around out there in the world living and they have no idea, even one little iota of what their shadow looks like? It's terrifying, okay? And those are the people that are pointing fingers at other people and getting all upset. It's that actually might be something fun for you to look up, the Jungian idea of the collective shadow. There's a YouTube channel called After School, After School, SKOOL. And they do animated illustrations of various concepts. And the idea of Carl Jung and the shadow, the collective shadow, might be of particular interest to you. That being said, it's this idea that if you don't confront your shadow, or not even confront, but you don't get to know your shadow, then it can have a profound effect on your actions and mannerisms and behaviors, and particularly how you relate to other people. Because your shadow is the aspect of yourself that you despise the most. So everything in your life that you don't want to be, that's your shadow. Okay, so now what happens if you don't know your shadow and you see it in somebody else? You get violently upset that that even exists because you haven't even confronted that it exists within you. And yet the capacity for all of that exists within all of us. And that is the cool thing. And that's why I said congratulations to you right now, because those aspects of yourself that came up in that relationship, yay, they're out of the dark. If you behaved like a complete and utter asshat or terrible bitch, or I don't know how you acted in this relationship, but if you cheated, if you lied, if you stole, if you were awful, then okay, first of all, I'm not applauding your behavior. What I'm saying is, yay, now you know that you're capable of that and you don't have to ever do it again. But you have seen your shadow. That is your shadow. You saw it. You said, hi, that's me. And now you feel shame, as you should. That is how you should feel after that. But now you can go, thank you for the lesson. And you can move on, and you can never do that again. You know? And that's all we can ever do is we're confronted with something. We do the best we can. Maybe we act completely in a terrible, terrible way. Maybe the other person acts in a terrible, terrible way, but we have to you know what the worst thing you can do after a relationship is? Blame everything on the other person. That's the worst thing you can do. Take no accountability whatsoever. Say it was all the other person's fault. You know? You can't expect to grow having behaved that way, right? It's those people. You know the person that every person that they date was a crazy bitch? You know the guy. We all know the guy. Every single girl they dated. But what happened with that one? Oh, she's a crazy bitch. Oh, every single one? Yeah. It's one of those situations where it's no, that's not true. You know, you've come up on aspects of yourself that you didn't know that you had and you didn't know you were capable of, and it's causing you some guilt and shame. But that's okay. You're just getting to know your darker aspect. And like I said, I think that one of the most beautiful things that we do as human beings is we see that we are capable of darkness and we choose to act in the light. Like we say, no, I'm not going to do that. And it's not that I couldn't, and it's not that I wouldn't, it's just that I'm not going to, right? If that makes any sense. I got a little out there. All right, I'm going to read to you from the Goddess Oracle deck about the wounded, and then that will kind of close out your reading. If you'd like to screenshot this or write it down, pause the video and write it down, you're welcome to. But this will close out your message today. Here, let's see. Okay. The wounded is quite sensitive, vulnerable, and impressionable. She bears pain and trauma, perhaps from her childhood. Humbly helping others is how she transmutes her suffering. She knows how to draw on the experience of her own ordeal to guide others with compassionate understanding. She must be careful, though, not to let her empathic desire to help result in her taking on the suffering of others and giving beyond her capacity. Stress and fatigue, either emotional or physical, can make life seem bleak and make her unable to cope with her own challenges. The appearance of the wounded in your reading is a reminder that we have all had traumatic experiences, the causes of which cannot always be rationalized or explained. The wounded child, especially, still lives within us, and if not acknowledged, comforted, and made to feel safe, she can lash out or cause irrational behavior. Okay, so kind of similar to the shadow, right? Like, wounded child, yes. So maybe some inner child work would be helpful for you guys too. Okay, and then this is a practice they give you. They always, in this book, this is the Wild Goddess Oracle. They give you a ritual to do for every card. So this is your ritual. Candle gazing. Candle gazing is a powerful meditation practice that calms the mind and promotes inner peace. Find a quiet place free of disturbances, people, phones, pets, fans, or air conditioners that might disturb the flame. You may use soft background music. Light a candle and clear your mind of all thoughts. Listen and see with your inner self. Breathe. Let your face be smooth and serene. Focus your gaze on the flame. Awaken the gentle intuitive power of the wounded and open this world to the next. Visions will come when you are receptive to them. Let them speak. Distractions dissolve away and the mind becomes focused on the flame. When you sit gazing half dreamily into the glowing heart of a candle and watching the vague shapes made as the flame flickers, try to see these indefinite pictures more clearly and to interpret them as symbols. When you feel you have received a message or symbol or simply feel calmer, take a few moments to contemplate the experience and safely extinguish the flame. All right, so that is all I have for you today, Aquarius. Thank you for bearing with me while I just chatted so much. That rarely happens in a reading, but like I said, it must be something about your energy. I just felt like I was talking to my best friend, so all right. Well, you guys take care. Thank you so much. It was a privilege to be allowed to read your cards today, and I hope all goes well for you in your healing journey. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed the content. Leave a comment, if it resonated. If you want to chat about anything, I'm available to be booked for private readings. Yeah. Other than that, that's all I have for you. Until next time. Bye.